now, please everyone join me in welcoming Chris Rubyor to the Xbox stage. Chris, how are you doing today?
I am doing awesome.
It's been a pretty good 24 hours, right? We had Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition Shadow drop yesterday onto Game Pass from Opening Night Live. I know it's been a short amount of time, but what has the reaction been like so far?
It's been just overwhelmingly positive.
I like that answer. That's what I was hoping you'd say.
We met with, I've met with a lot of players that have come to our booth. They're like, wow, thank you for bringing it to console. We've been waiting a long time for this. Yep. People that have played it tell us, wow, that it's amazing how you even got it to work. What was the mad science behind that?
What were you doing?
A lot of magic and a lot of goodness went into it, but it's been a very, very awesome. The shadow drop was
yeah, we
great.
do love a shadow drop, don't we? Right, well, we're going to be digging into all of that, but you are here to showcase everything what the team of World's Edge have been working on, and we're going to be doing a live gameplay segment for you all. So we're going to go through Skirmish, and before I do any of the nerdy questions in my head about how you've done it, I'm going to ask you some nerdy questions about what we're going to be looking at here. So what have you got set up for us?
So today we'll be diving into Skirmish, but I want to walk players through a lot of the changes that we made.
Yeah,
You've heard us, if you watch the documentary, we literally rebuilt the front end and a lot of all of the tactical UI. We built it from the ground up, redesigned it so it would work incredibly well on the console. And so I would love to show that off to players and everything that we've done.
The floor is all yours, my darling.
Sweetness. So let's jump in. So this is for the Xbox, we created a brand new front end. And by the way, I love that I'm all the way back here like 8 feet. Incredibly readable. So this is awesome. Very easy to navigate through our various menus that we created. Just can RB through everything. And again, still kind of it has a lot of the colors and flares that our PC version did, but again, redesigned so that you can couch play from almost 8 feet away, which is awesome.
Let's just pause for a moment. At no point on the screen does it say Age of Empires, but I know what I'm looking at, and you've got an Xbox and controller in your hand.
Yes.
So there you go.
It's awesome.
Job done.
So we're going to go into single player today, and we're going to set up a skirmish. But I've already set up a skirmish.
This one I made earlier.
This is one I made earlier, so that we can jump in, and more importantly, it'll enable me to talk about all the cool stuff that we've done.
Nice.
And hopefully not get destroyed by the AI. So.
Well, also I'm going to make sure you aren't distracted and you do talk to me during
Yes, that's right.
Because I've heard that you go into focus mode somewhat.
I go into combat mode. So.
Which I love, because I'm not a combat girly. I like to build my civilizations. I like to make them look very beautiful, and then at the end I'm like, I suppose I need to go bash someone up now.
I do that too. I'm actually quite the builder, and then I get a lot of better players than me that come over and stomp my base. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have been focused on making a cool base.
It's all about turtling the wonder in the base for me. That's how I go for it.
So it's awesome. So we're going to be playing today. We got the English versus the French.
Yep.
Very tried and true classic matchup.
Indeed.
We're going to start with our base kind of already pre-made, and if players out there haven't checked it out, we've released Empire Wars, which is a kind of a really cool fast start in the game. And Age of Empires 4 is a little bit different than Age of Empires 2. The civs are slightly more asymmetric. So Empires Wars was designed, each civilization starts and was handcrafted to start at the right start that you would expect them to be at that point in time. So a lot of passion and love went into making that mode super awesome. So what we see here is basically the base that I've set up. I got a bunch of workers right here in idle, but more importantly, it's like, well, what's all that UI on the screen?
Because that is the first thing, especially so you go from PC gameplay, and if you've never played on console, Age 2 came out early this year. If you've not had a chance to play that yourself, it even looks different to that one as well as soon as you load them somewhat.
Yes. So we've went in, we've made a lot of modifications, and our goal is to literally streamline the interface, but at the same time make it incredibly accessible and easy to read for couch play.
Yes,
so
definitely.
One of the first things any PC player would notice is like, oh my gosh, the resource bar is in the top center of the screen. It's on the PC, it's in the lower left. We found on the console that that placement is really nice, makes it super easy to read, and we got a lot of learnings actually came from Age of Empires 2. Kudos to that team for an awesome job that they did. So we were able to tap into a lot of that and literally kind of define out. So as I go through the screen in a clockwise motion, we have our resource bar at the top. We have kind of our tribute menu that you can access, with various commands. You'll also see a bunch of little helper widgets, and those were purposely done so there's, it's not mouse and keyboard. It is, you need to, as a new player, it's very helpful to understand which inputs you got to press to access various bits of functionality. The lower right-hand corner, that's kind of your tried and true mini-map.
Indeed, yeah.
You can expand your mini-map, which is a really cool bit of functionality. You can hold down the Y button. You can actually super fast scroll.
It's seamless.
Yep. You can drop camera markers, which I'm going to do here. One more, and then that's a terrible spot for a marker, but I'll drop one right there for the purpose of demo. And then what you can do too on the mini-map is you can just literally just jump around based on those waypoints that you set. So entirely up to the player, however they want to play. And the toolbar, or I should say the D-pad controls that you see in the center of this bottom center there, those are what we call a quick find menu, and it allows players, kind of like hotkey shortcuts on the PC.
Sure.
It allows you to jump to various units, structures that you have on the battlefield. For example, if I press D-pad up, I can cycle through all my idle villagers very quickly.
There they are.
If I want to go to my military, I can press D-pad left, boom. I'm right there with a group of units, and I can kind of cycle through them. Now, if I want, I can actually select all my idle villagers just by holding D-pad up.
Right. And I want to ask you a little bit about what work you've done in the background to try and get it to like the testing phase. And we even heard in that Vidoc just then that I think it's yourself or maybe a lot of other people are really, really excited about playing on a controller now.
Yeah, so we have, we've spent, I should say, both teams, Age of Empires 2 and 4, we spent many, many months and thousands of hours basically hammering away. We methodically went through the keyboard and mouse inputs and essentially broke them down, figured out how all of that would map and translate to the controller. And then once we got it all done on paper, after many months, we started prototyping, we started iterating, we started playing what worked, what didn't work, started throwing things out, bringing stuff back. So it was just a constant phase of development where we were just trying and experimenting until we landed on what you see here today. And we're really happy. The team, kudos to all the teams, our partner teams that worked on this. We have something that is truly amazing. And honestly, I've said this before. If you watch the videos, as an RTS player, I should say, as an RTS developer that's worked in the genre for about 29 years now. I actually prefer to play with the controller.
Well, let's go back in the hot seat then. Do some movements for us. I want to see. Do the thing again where you select all the villagers.
So I press up on the D-pad.
Go on. Oh, there we go.
Which is super awesome. If you think about it, it's like
so good.
And that's what I love about the controller is everything. Everything on the D-pad is at your fingertips. It's you no longer have two input devices. Everything's been focused down to one. And we've gone in, we've intelligently designed the controller in such a way that it just makes everything feel really intuitive, natural. And why I say that is because that carries through across both products, Age 2 and Age 4. So if you're an Age 2 player and you're like, I'm going to go download Age 4 right now.
Which you should, if you haven't, by the way.
Absolutely. You're going to be able to pick up the controller and start playing right away, and you're going to feel right at home. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can play this without having to relearn it. No, that was intentionally done because this blueprint that we have was designed so not only in the present is it awesome, but we can also carry it forward into the future with other iterations. So I got am I getting attacked by the AI? Look at that, I'm talking.
Here we are chatting and you're under fire.
Yeah, so what I want to show off are a couple cool innovations. These are absolutely critical to players out there. The first one is called the Villager Priority System, and this is key. I love this system with a passion, and I got to say, this is actually a new innovative feature for the genre as a whole. I was saying to our creative director, I'm like, how did we not think of this 10 years ago? and we laugh about it. But that's how cool of a feature it really is. So how it works is you essentially bring up this really cool radial. You hold down the left trigger, press an RS, and it brings up this radial. And this radial has a bunch of different presets that are broken up into various kind of like pie chart-like fashions. These are all weighted based on resource type. So instead
of dragging and dropping individual folks as they come out the village, it's just already managed.
This is where it gets really good. I got it all set up. So oh my God, that's amazing. So we're gonna focus in on this economic one, but. If you can use these presets. They were designed by our pro players on our team. We have some basic ones that if you're like me, you can just kind of set it and go. But depending on phase of gameplay, you can actually shift in and out of presets based on if I need more gold, need more stone.
Well, that's end game is when you need more gold. You don't really need it at start,
And you can pivot your villagers accordingly, and this governance system will take care of all that for you. Now, of course, if you're super pro, you can go in.
Which we are. We are.
You can go in and customize your own VPS settings. So you have a custom setting for the pro players, or your average, individuals like myself, or presets, which are more geared towards me. And let me show everybody how this works, because this is awesome. So I'm going to select the economic preset down here, very basic, straightforward. Click a button, and you watch all those idle villagers.
Off they go.
They're put to work.
And
let me show you an amazing pairing. So you take the villager priority system and you combine it with a new feature that we added to Age of Empires 4 on the Xbox, which is auto-train villagers on your TC. So now you get auto-train villagers going, and essentially you'll be booming in no time.
Just showing off now.
And it's awesome. So these features, made perfect sense to pair these two.
Yeah.
And anybody out there, try it out. You're gonna love it. Once you can't go back. I was playing the PC the other day, and we're working on PC, iterating and changing things. I'm like, I had so much wood. I'm like, why are my villagers collecting wood? I'm like, oh gosh, I forgot. I'm on the PC, not the console, and you got to manually go in and out. But people, players love that level of micro. So we want to make sure that we give player the agency to do either or. This system really helps bolster the console experience. So. Yeah. And that's why we added it. And Age of Empires 2 was the first one to add it. We brought the system in. We've made some additional tunings to it to make it work even better. And over time, you're just going to see the system in the Age series just grow and grow and just become super awesome.
Absolutely love it.
I got one more. Do we have time?
Oh, of course we've got time. All the time in the world.
So another feature that we added to Age of Empires Xbox was the ability to build anywhere you want without having to select a villager. This is key. So normally in the past, you had to select a villager and bring up the command bar on the PC. It's in the bottom.
Yep.
I didn't show this earlier. Gosh darn it. And here, this is the build radial. So let me talk about it now. This is the build radial. And on the console, we've broken up the build features across 4 different categories. You have economy, defense, military, and age up. So, and I'll back out of that, bring it back up again. And all of this is easily accessible through the D-pad. Purposely designed so players eventually can map all this in their brains to, just go to economy, and eventually get it. So very well done. So with the site menu system, no longer do you have to select a villager. You can simply say, cursor over this resource pile, hit the right trigger, and it's going to bring up the right structure that you can place at that particular pile.
And then the way that you've weighted the villagers to work, people will go build it, and then they'll go mine it.
One villager will automatically be assigned, and it'll start building. And the great thing is, once this villager is done, the VPS system will capture that villager and put it back to work.
Oh my days.
So it's super awesome. And of course, that's with resource piles, so it's context sensitive, on demand. You can also cursor over the terrain, bring up the menu, go to your build system, and it brings up the villager radio. And at that point, say I want to build more military structures, simply select the military structure, build one, and it's going to select the nearby villager, and off you go. So again, some really awesome niceties that we added to the game to just further bolster the console experience and reduce APM on the player.
So good. Now, there might be some people in chat who saw the news yesterday as well, who might be brand new to this whole experience, and there is a tutorial that's been added called Rise of the King. I wonder if we could just touch on that very quickly.
Absolutely. So the Rise of the King tutorial was created for the Xbox experience. It's broken up across 5 different missions, and it was designed to teach players the basics, the core, your core inputs, your basic age concepts, as well as teach players the fundamentals like base building, resource management, and of course the biggie, combat. So it takes players through all of these different phases of gameplay across 5 missions. Now, we didn't want to just build an onboarding experience that was do this, do that. We wanted something that was narratively driven and tied into the historical component that we created for Age of Empires 4. So we decided to create a prelude to the main campaign of the game, which follows William the Conqueror starting in 1047, and it takes you all the way up to 1066 with a landing in England up to the Battle of Hastings.
There it is.
So when you move into the main campaign, you'll actually start off right where you left off in the tutorial.
Oh, you lot are well smart. Well done. So the Xbox mantra that we all know and love is very much play how you want, when you want, and wherever you want. And that's very important because now we've enabled 2 and 4 of the Age franchise on Xbox consoles. How does it feel to be continuing to support that mantra?
It's awesome. It's an opportunity for us to get Age in the hands of millions of new gamers around the world. That may never have the opportunity to experience this game. Always wanted to experience this game, but for whatever reason, they couldn't. So now, through Game Pass and Xbox, they can go online, they can download it, and have a great experience. And so for us, it's an opportunity, a chance for players to play on the platform they want and play comfortably on the input device that they want.
And comfortably on the sofa as
On
well.
the sofa, which, by the way,
sofa.
is super awesome.
It's pretty good. Chat, by the way, I want to know, hands up in chat, if you have got it installed, because I want to see everyone just get very, very excited. It has been a little bit of time since it's been announced, so fingers crossed you have. But before we go, I must ask, because I'm also very excited. I hear you've got a big announcement for us, something you want to share, maybe?
I am thrilled.
Thrilled
And have the privilege of being able to announce to everyone around the world that the biggest expansion released for Age of Empires 4 is coming soon. It's called The Sultan's Ascend.
Oh, that's
it's
a good name.
packed with a ton of content, and it's going to take players on an epic journey through the Middle East. Now, I can say stay tuned. That's all I can say at this time. So
sorry, chat.
We're going to release more information very shortly, as well as details on how you can go onto your favorite platform and wishlist this baby up. So
fantastic.
Super excited, and please, that's good. The expansion's awesome.
I cannot wait to see more. Cannot wait to hear more. Chris, I also want to know, when you go home and continue the skirmish, I want to hear how the fight goes when you do it, all right?
Probably going to go terribly.
Nah, I believe in you, I believe in you. Well, thanks again for joining us. And chat, please do not forget, you can play Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition on Xbox right now. You didn't think I'd be saying that a few days ago, with Xbox Game Pass, as well as PC Game Pass if you haven't tried it out yet.